Hello, I'm Miss Shatanya from Cinco Ranch Branch Library in Katy, Texas. In this video, I will be showing you how to create book character inspired recipes. Now, as you can see, I am in my book character costume. I'm dressed up like Wonder Woman. Now, you are not required to dress up like a book character when you make these recipes, but I can tell you from personal experience that it's much more fun if you do. Now, since these recipes do include some ingredients that you may be allergic to, we just ask that you substitute accordingly. And also, please make sure that you wash your hands thoroughly before and after making these recipes. All right, so let's make a mess, let's have some fun, and let's eat. Okay, so I have all of my ingredients and materials that I will need for my Harry Potter cookie. I have a plain sugar cookie. Your cookie can be one that you baked yourself or a store-bought cookie. This is a store-bought cookie that I'm using. I have 2 tubes of black icing, a thick tube and a thin tube, and I'll explain later why I'm using them in different sizes. And then I have icing of my own color of choosing. I have white or vanilla frosting. I have a knife. And I have clean Q-tips. And these are optional, which I'll explain why later. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just completely cover my sugar cookie, the face of my sugar cookie, in white for his face. As you can see, I'm kind of going around the edges as well. So that should be pretty good for his face. Now, I'm ready to add some of the thick black icing for his hair. The reason why I'm using the thick black icing for his hair is because I'm going to need more of it for his hair than the glasses, which I'll show you later. I'm going to take one of my Q-tips. And like I said, the Q-tips are optional, but I prefer to use them for his hair because it's a really good tool to help smooth out his hair. So I'm just gonna take my cookie, and we'll consider this the top of his head. I'm just gonna pat it down like that. Press it down. And to make his hair as realistic as possible, you can kind of take the Q-tip to push it down over his face a little bit. That should be good for his hair. Okay, so next I'm going to add his lightning scar, because it wouldn't be Harry Potter without the lightning scar, right? So that's where your icing of your color of choosing comes in. So you can stick with the black icing for his scar. I'm going to choose pink for his scar. So what you want to do when you make the lightning scar is kind of make a zigzag. Hopefully you can see. And you want to aim for like his right side of his head or the middle, because that's accurately where his lightning scar was in the books and the movies, I believe. I don't like that. I don't like a backward Z. Okay. Next, we're going to do his glasses. Okay. I'm going to use the thin tube of black icing for his glasses because I don't need thick amounts of icing for his glasses. His glasses are going to be rather thin, as you can see in that example. So I'm just going to practice here, make sure this is coming out correctly. Okay, good enough. And try to make 2 circles. So that was my attempt at 2 circles with the thin black icing. This doesn't have to be perfect. It's your cookie and it's your creation, so make it however you like. It's pretty much going to crumble and not look like this when you eat it anyway. So I've got my 2 circles, and then I'm going to try to make an arc in between the 2 circles to make glasses. Okay, so that's my arc for his glasses. Hopefully you can tell. This is actually a better example. Now, some people choose to make a whole face. You can do that. Like I said, it's your cookie, it's your creation. But in order for people to be able to tell that it's a Harry Potter cookie, the main things you need are his hair, the lightning scar, and glasses. So this is the cookie version of Harry Potter, the boy who lived. Okay, so I have all of my ingredients and materials that I will need for my Elmo Rice Krispie treat. I have a Rice Krispie treat here, red food coloring, Reese's Pieces. You can also use orange M&Ms. I have my black icing that I'm going to use as glue later. Candy eyeballs. You can also use bright white candy melts. And I have my Oreos here. And I have plenty of paper towels handy because this recipe can get quite messy. So the first thing I'm going to do is completely cover my Rice Krispie treat in red food coloring. That's why I have 3 of these, because it may take a lot of food coloring to cover this. So I'm just gonna pour it on. It may even help to get some on the plate and just kind of rub it like that to make it go faster. Okay, so that should be good enough for the face, at least, if nothing else. The red kind of came out a little bit darker than I would have expected, but that's okay, I can work with it. So if you notice, I had to put a paper towel underneath my paper plate because it kind of bled through. So I'm going to take a moment to kind of wipe some things down because, like I said, this recipe can get quite messy. And after I wipe some things down, we'll be ready for the eyes. So I've wiped down some things. As you can see, I still have some red food coloring on my fingers. It will go away after a while, especially after you take a shower. If you can think of a less messier way of getting the food coloring onto your Rice Krispie treat, by all means, follow that method. But we're ready for the eyes now. So I have my 2 candy eyes there. And like I said, you can also use bright white candy melts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a couple of small dabs of this black icing here that I'm going to use as my glue to glue the eyes at the top of his face. So, and I'm probably going to get red dye on this tube. It's okay. Hopefully you can see that. A little bit more. I don't know if you can see those 2 dots there, but that's where I'm going to place my candy eyes. Got my fingers. just going to place the eyes gently but firmly onto those 2 dabs. So those are his eyes. And if you're using bright white candy melts, since the bright white candy melts are completely white, you would have to remember to place a small dab of black icing on the top of those bright white candy melts. So now we are ready for his nose. And just like with the candy eyes, I'm going to use my black icing again as glue. And I'm going to place it squarely in the middle of his face. I hope you can see that. Then I'm going to take an orange Reese's Piece. You can also use an orange M&M and just place it squarely in the middle of his nose like that. Okay, now here is where it gets interesting. Now we are ready for his mouth. And what we're going to use for his mouth is part of an Oreo cookie. So I'm just going to take an Oreo cookie and break it in half. That crumbled apart too much. Let me try another one. Okay, so I'm going to use this part. I'm going to take this part, and hopefully if it's not too big for my face, I can just take the black icing and glue it on. But if it is too big for your Elmo's face, if you're very meticulous, what you can do is take a knife and carefully, of course, cut around the edges of the mouth. Or if you're like me, you can nibble around the edge. So I'm trying to decide if this is big enough or should I nibble. I think it could be a little bit smaller. So pardon me while I nibble around the edge real quick to make my mouth a better fit for my Elmo's face. Okay, so I nibbled it down to this. As you can see, it's a little jagged on the edges, but it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just having fun, right? So I believe now it's a better fit for my Elmo Rice Krispie treat. And normally, if your cookie wafer already has the white icing on it, you could just use that as glue. But since I chose a part of the cookie wafer that has no icing on it, I'm going to have to use my black icing as glue again. So it's going to take quite a little bit, and just rub it on the back of my cookie wafer and just press it firmly but gently onto his face. And that is my Elmo Rice Krispie treat.
Well, I hope that you enjoy eating these book characters as much as you enjoy reading about them. We want to see your creations. If you made any of these recipes or other book character inspired recipes, please take a picture of your recipe creation and send it to communications@fortbend.lib.tx.us or attach your photo in our Facebook comment section.